Hi there. So for today's Ninja Art Tip, I want to talk to you about, there's a question that I get asked a lot from students that come to our studio to learn to draw and paint. And the question is what order to learn the different mediums in. So we teach learn to draw, learn to paint in pastel, learn to paint watercolour, learn to paint acrylic, and learn to paint oil. I paint in all of those mediums and I love it. I love each of the mediums for all sorts of different reasons. And I choose each medium depending on what my mood is or what the subject is or what the painting style I'm planning to do requires. And so I think it's really good to have a grounding in all the mediums. And even if you're a beginner and you're just first starting out, it's really good to have a play with each of the different mediums until you really understand what each of them are all about, and then choose which one might be your favourite if you're just going to stick with one in your art career, which many people do. So I reckon the most important order, that it's really important to get the order right in the order that you learn these things. So the very first one I recommend you get good at is drawing. So a good drawing is underneath every good painting. So you have to know how to draw before you can pick up a brush and make the marks on the canvas with the shapes in the right places and things. And so drawing is the foundation underneath paintings. So definitely learn how to draw first before you make it all complicated with colour and paint and texture and all the things that go on with a painting. So get your drawing skills right first, and then a good one after that is pastel, because pastel is kind of like a dry coloured medium, like dry chalk, but professional artist colours, so that's really lovely bright colours. And pastel is kind of like drawing in colour, but it comes a little bit more like painting. Even though you're using a stick of dry medium, it's a bit like painting. So I call it painting in pastel, and I teach how to actually kind of paint with the stick instead of just drawing with a stick. And then out of the remaining most common mediums that people paint with, which is watercolour, acrylic and oil, I found after I learnt each of these mediums, I actually started out in watercolour, and watercolour was a little bit of a challenge. And any of you that have tried to paint a watercolour painting without any training, you've probably found the same thing, that watercolour is a real challenge unless you know the tricks with it. And so after I learnt watercolour and I kind of got confident with watercolour, then I picked up acrylics and I thought, whoa, acrylics are really easy compared to watercolour. I'm so glad I learnt watercolour first, because then my acrylics were much better by learning the watercolour medium first and then going on to acrylics. And finally, when I picked up the medium of oil, I just went, man, oil is so easy. I'm so glad I did these other mediums first. So that's actually the order now that I recommend people learn in. After you've learned how to draw, definitely play around with pastel, because it's just like kind of exploding your drawings into colour. And then when you start painting, start off with watercolour, and start off with a good watercolour teacher. So there's it's really important to learn watercolour in a really structured way, so that you understand what's happening with the paper, what's happening with the brush, what's happening with the paint. If you really understand those foundation skills, you'll be fine with watercolour. And that was what I missed when I first started learning it. I didn't have those foundations. I kind of had to battle along myself, learning the hard way. But now I've got some structured courses where people can learn it and they can understand all the tricks with watercolour, so that it does become easy and you understand what's going on and why things go wrong or why things go right. You kind of understand the process. And then acrylics is great to do after watercolour. And then we just kind of top off the year with oil at the end of the year, because if you've got the foundation in watercolour and acrylics, then you've got really good skills to carry over into the oil medium. And then all you really need to do is learn a couple new little tricks about the nuances with oil painting, and you're away. So I really, really recommend, if you're learning on your own or you come and learn with us, that you start off with Learn to Draw, then you move on to pastel, then watercolour, then acrylics, and then finally oils. So that's my recommendation. Take it or leave it. Happy painting to everybody, and I hope to see you over in the dojo at zenartart.com, and please like, share, comment on the video. I'd love to hear what you think of this idea. Thanks for watching.